What's up, XRP Army? Welcome back to the channel and Merry Christmas. Hopefully you all had a wonderful holiday. If you're catching the replay of this stream, go ahead and skip ahead to the 4-minute mark. That's when I'll actually kick things off. Other than that, I'll just be welcoming people in, making sure the stream is flowing and buffered correctly, making sure audio is good, all of those things. So if you're catching the replay, you can go ahead and skip ahead to the 4-minute mark, and I'll be welcoming people in the meantime. We do have a lot to cover. 7 straight weeks of ETF inflows. We're going to be covering what was actually being removed, if anything new was pulled into the ETFs, and we do have a little bit of new news. Cardano's CEO, or one of the creators of Cardano, is starting to get a little fed up with traditional finance, and tell you the truth, I don't blame him. We'll cover that as well. So hopefully people are coming into the stream here. We'll give it a couple minutes. As always, if you're coming into the stream, make sure you sign off in chat so I know you are here, so I know who I'm talking to, and so I can get an idea of what we are working with. But again, I hope you all had a great holiday. I was running around like crazy for 2 days, so it's, it seems like the day after Christmas is kind of like the adult Christmas, if you will. Well, unless you have little kids and you're spending gift cards and whatnot. Seems like Christmas is a lot of running around, doesn't it, when you get older? Hopefully we got some people coming in the stream here. Awfully quiet for it being at the 1.5-minute mark. Usually I have a few people in here at this point. But again, we will be covering ETFs. We will be covering new news. Again, the CEO, or not CEO, one of the Brad's in the house. Hey, someone made it. Brad, is there anyone else in here with you? It seems kind of slow today. It is day after Christmas. So I expected it to be a little bit slow. Hopefully we get some people in here as things get going, though. Raul's in the house. All right, good. We got some people coming in here. Hopefully you guys had a good Christmas. And yeah, it was 70 degrees here in Kansas City. 4 people in. Yeah, I figured it'd be kind of slow day after Christmas. We do have a little news though, and I'll cover the ETFs like I always do. Just have a little hangout with the few of us that come in here, and that's perfectly fine with me. Good afternoon, Gloria. Todd Madison in the house. Yeah, everyone's in a food coma. I don't blame you. I actually kept it kind of light yesterday. I had one big plate for Christmas dinner, and that was it. I didn't really go overboard yesterday, so that was good. One of my few times I don't. All right, so we are 2.5 minutes, so we'll give it a 1.5 minutes. So while we're waiting, here you go. What was your guys' favorite part of Christmas yesterday? Let me know in the chat. Let me know what your guys' favorite part of Christmas was yesterday. And again, if you're coming in the chat, don't worry. I'm not going to be just doing this the whole time. At the 4-minute mark, I will start with the information and we will hop into XRP and what's going on with the ETFs. We do have 7 straight weeks of inflows, trying to work on Bitcoin's record of 72 straight days, I think is what it was. So if we can get 72 straight days of inflows at XRP, we would hold that record for crypto, which would be amazing. But we'll see. It's slow. End of year is always slow. We talk about that. People getting, their taxes ready. We can cover a little bit on the chart too. I'm starting to notice a trend since now that we have, options and futures and derivatives and all of those things live for XRP. I'm starting to notice a trend in the chart too, which is both good and bad. I think it, for what we're looking at, I do think it sets us up for a good step. But again, we'll cover that as well. Just little intricacies that I've started to notice since we've had futures and derivatives and stuff like that go along, we can point out here. But let's move on here. We are at 3:55, so I'll go ahead and get started. If someone can let me know how many people are in the stream one more time, I appreciate it, and I'm going to go ahead and get everything kicked off for us. So without further ado, what's up, XRP Army? Welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, kick back, relax. I'm not going to ask you to do anything except for engage in the chat. And if it's your second time here, make sure you hit subscribe, smash the like button, and engage in the chat. The chat is the lifeblood of the stream. We will go through and we will cover the chart. We will cover the ETF inflows. We will cover the little bit of new news we do have. And then I will go through and address every single person in the chat, because this channel is about building a community that is here for the long view, not what's happening today or tomorrow or next week, but a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. We are here to actually try and build long-term wealth, and you're not going to do that overnight. So let's hop into the chart without further ado. There it is. So again, not much price action happening. We're still hanging around 184. We've been chopping in this area between 175 and 196 now ish, 195, 196 ish, all the way since mid-December. And again, don't forget, we've had account sets ramping up. We've had transactions ramping up on the XRP ledger. But when I was talking about, and we always look at the 1 hour chart, if you're catching this for the first time, we always look at the 1 hour chart. We're not looking at minutes here. But if you look at these candles that we've been seeing more of, we're seeing a lot more larger candles with larger wicks. Ever since we've started getting derivatives and futures, you see a lot of these larger wicks and larger candles now, ever since we got that, starting back at this point roughly. So that, but with that being the case, that opens us up for a lot of volatility. We've cleared out all the liquidity down to 175. Again, we've talked about having a buy support at that 175 level where the $3.1 billion purchase happened. So again, we're still holding at $1.75 for our level, but we're seeing a lot more of these big wicks. What does that mean? This means that the price is moving easier because we're having a lot of liquidity pumped in with futures, with derivatives, with options, a lot of funny money, a lot of leverage. So we're going to see larger candles. That being the case, if we have some volatility come in, like a large buy purchase, that's when we're going to start seeing that multiplier effect that Zach Rector was talking about. I think now that we've cleared out all the liquidity, when we finally do get some large buy or sell orders, we're going to get larger wicks and gapping both ways. And that's what we called out in our model. It was specifically calling out gaps, large candles, more volatility. That's part of phase 2 when we get this spike. So we're starting to see the gaps, large candles, and the short covering and momentum flows. We're starting to see all that happen without the price movement yet. Again, not financial advice, but I'm just lining up the data that we have pulled from previous information. Let's look at the whole crypto market as a whole, though, and see what we're dealing with here. So right now, everything's kind of hovering down 1%, down 2%, up 1%. Just not a lot of movement. We're just chopping. And again, that's expected this time of year. Everyone's, no one's trading. People are done for the year for the most part. But that does open us up to a large move if we do get some pressure. So that is a possibility. So if we look at the hour, everyone's green for the hour. Why did I go into this period? I don't want to look at that. So we go to the hour, everyone's up for the hour. And then again, for the year, everything's red except Zcash, XMR, and BNB for the most part here. So again, the entire crypto market is down as a whole. It's been bleeding. I don't think XRP is going to $1, but again, I'll address the chat once we get through all of the information. That being said, let's hop into what's actually being held in ETFs. So we updated this before Christmas. So we updated this at what was it? 12:30, 1 o'clock on the 24th. So we'll see if anything's changed since then. I doubt there will be much change since it was only a half a day of trading and nothing happened yesterday, but we will see. So Franklin Templeton was at 105 million XRP held in their fund, in their trust. And they are currently where? Currently, oh no, they still added another 6 million. They're up to 111 million. So Franklin Templeton added 6 million. Let's see what Grayscale is doing. They were at 121 million. Let me refresh that and see what's happened with Grayscale. They're still at 121 million in their trust, so no change for Grayscale. Canary Capital was at 176 million. They're still at 176 million, so no change for Canary Capital. Bitwise was at 122. Refresh. And they are still at 122, so no change for Bitwise yet. And 21 shares was sitting at 135 million last we checked. Let's refresh, see if they added to it. If it'll refresh. Just keep spinning. Just keep spinning. There's 130, so no change for 21 shares, but we did have a 6 million increase on Franklin Templeton. Again, we only had a half a day of trading on the 24th and nothing on the 25th. So even then, 6 million XRP still removed from supply into crypto ETFs. Let's talk about a little bit of news though. Again, there's not much out here, but again, XRP ETFs extend daily inflow as volume tops 1.2 billion. So it actually topped 1.25 billion. This is from last thing. I didn't update that. Here we go. XRP ETF inflows for 7 consecutive weeks. I can't talk. Weeks. I've been sounding like Kripke from Big Bang Theory recently. Sorry, let me try that again. XRP ETFs post inflows for 7 consecutive weeks and the price still struggles. XRP ETFs post steady inflows Unrealized losses unrealized losses rise, increased selling risks among long-term holders. XRP trades near 186 with 185 acting as key support. We've fallen below 185. We're at 183 today, but we have called out 175 as our main support. So it's saying XRP has struggled to regain the price over recent weeks with multiple failed recovery attempts. Deepening bear pressure, the token remains locked in a downtrend, reflecting hesitation across the broader crypto market. Again, still following Bitcoin. We've talked about that. Everything is down. Despite this weakness, XRP ETFs continue to attract capital, signaling that institutional demand remains resilient. XRP ETF demand remains strong, which they just said. Losses among XRP holders have steadily increased, adding pressure to near-term price action. Net unrealized profit and loss data shows unrealized profits have dropped to a yearly low. Investors who purchased XRP above the $1.86 level are now holding losses. Okay, I don't need to read this to you and talk to you like you're 12. We understand that. Most people are holding losses. Most people bought above the current level of XRP. This is what's really funny, though. Cardano's founder calls XRP unfakeable, says it's built for a $10 trillion market. So Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson has reignited debate around blockchain infrastructure after commenting on recent moves by traditional finance firms into tokenization. Responding to news around the Canton network, Hoskinson says, legacy finance is trying to recreate systems that XRP and Cardano-linked projects are already building, but at a much smaller scale. Hoskinson argued that platforms like XRP and Midnight are designed from the ground up for Web3, while traditional institutions are only beginning to experiment. When asked what scale he was referring to, he pointed directly to the real-world asset market, saying the goal is a $10 trillion opportunity. And his quote was, I love it when I see legacy finance come together with Canton to try and build what XRP and Midnight are already doing at a scale 100 times beyond their ambition. These guys will never learn. So that being said, I said it again, but all of that to say, people are starting to get fed up right now. People are starting to get fed up with traditional finance. They feel like they're being skirted, like they're trying to go around what's already being built. They're finally starting to accept blockchain technology and crypto technology, but they're trying to bypass it and create their own things. The Canton network is backed by BlackRock and many other top traditional financial companies, by the way. So they chose the one that they have their own money into, and they just kept it silent. That's what they're doing. So is that bad for XRP? Is that good for XRP? I honestly think it's bad for XRP, to tell you the truth, that they're trying to go around it. But I do think that XRP's position is undeniable, and it's how much they're going to capture. They're not going to win it all. This thought process that they were going to take on everything, that was never the case. Money wasn't going to let that happen. The rich people weren't going to let that happen without getting their piece. I mean, that's just how it goes. Follow the money. The money tells you where to go. And then moving on, XRP ETF net assets cross 1.25 billion milestone, but price action is muted. That's all everyone wants to talk about, is that institutions keep buying while the price is still falling. Why is the price still falling? Because whales are selling and ETFs are purchasing OTC. So we're not feeling the price action. It sucks, but that's where we're at right now. It doesn't change the fundamental and the institutional drive for XRP. It's a matter of when, it's not a matter of if. We're here for what's going to happen a year from now, 10 years from now, not what's going to happen today, tomorrow, next week. But that is all the information. So I'm going to hop into the chat. Hopefully you all had a good Christmas. Let's see who's in the house here. We got Brad Dixon in the house today. Raul's in the house. Gloria is in the house. That's a new one I may have seen once. If I do, again, I have memory issues. But Gloria, that one doesn't stand out to me. So welcome. Todd Madison said everyone is in a food coma after Christmas. Yeah, that's definitely true. Hawaii Rider said Jake is still saying XRP is going to a minimum of 100 by the end of the year. Again, I hope he's right, but that would be a great New Year's present. He's standing to it. If it skyrockets over the next week, that would be great. But I'm not betting on it. I think. I mean, right now RSI is down. There's room for a move up. And again, our math model predicts a 20 to 40% increase is imminent. I don't know about $100 by the end of the year, but again, I would absolutely love to be wrong. That's whenever it comes to Jake is still saying this or Jake says this, all I'm gonna say is I would love to be wrong. Um, Stephen Mogella. Okay. Do we know how much XRP is left in OTC and dark pools? No, we do not, unfortunately. And the thing that sucks, if you look at the whale movement of wallets, okay, you can see that a lot of the medium-sized whales purchased or sold over the last several weeks, but a lot of the larger sized whales accumulated, and that was all done OTC. So who are these larger whales? What are they doing? Do they have their own OTC desks? Are they money makers feeding ETFs? We don't know. We also had that large $3.1 billion purchase at the $1.75 level. That screams moneymaker to me. So if there was a $3.1 billion purchase at the $1.75 level, that means they wrapped up over 1.5 billion XRP roughly at a $1.75. So whoever's sitting on that has 1.5 billion XRP at $1.75. They could be turning around selling those OTC to ETFs. We don't know. We just know that Ripple can't sell directly to the ETF issuers. We can go look at the actual SEC filings and see what the actual authorized participants are. But how much are they holding? Where are they getting their XRP from? These are all questions we can't answer. That's why we try to take math and what we can see and can look at and predict like a model or a time frame. So anyone giving you exact numbers, we have no way of knowing. There's no way of knowing what's actually sitting in OTC and dark pools. We do know that there's roughly $2.6 billion worth of XRP left on exchanges. We know that. We do know Ripple's going to release some escrow at the beginning of January. How much will be locked up? How much of it's going to be going out? We don't know. So right now, because the supply is so vast and we're just now getting into this institutionally, we're still trying to figure out what XRP is where. And I don't think we're really going to see like a big picture of what XRP is where until we get the Clarity Act and we find out what they're going to have to do with their excess XRP, if they have to do anything with their XSRP. There's a lot of questions that still need to be answered as far as regulation, adoption, and clarity around crypto and XRP. So it's, you know, it's hard to tell. There's still a lot of variables. That's why it's still considered a speculative asset, because we still don't have all those variables. We do know it's not going to be a speculative asset. We do know clarity is coming. We do know adoption is happening. We do know institutions are getting involved. But we're still in that stage right now where it's hard to say what's exactly going to be what. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully that answers your question as best I can, Stephen. Let's see here. Mahadir said, I'm tired with XRP. I've been holding for 6 years, hoping it get to $7 to $10, and then I'll just sell. Just so tired with deep and everything. Well, I mean, there's a lot of people who are exhausted with XRP, especially if you've been holding it for a decade plus, or you've been around here for several years. There's been a lot of false promises made on what XRP was going to be and what it can be. I personally, I mean, everyone has their right and their own opinions on how they want to handle it. Me personally, I do believe there is still a lot of large opportunity for XRP. So I am of the vein that I would rather hold it to zero than sell too early. And then if it were to sell too early, if I were to sell too early and it were to do what I think it's capable of doing over the next 5 to 10 years, then I couldn't live with that. But if it goes to zero, I can live with that. I went with my belief and I was wrong. But again, that's why I tell every single one of you, this is not financial advice. I give you the facts, figures, logics, my thinking and opinion, and you can decide what to do with that yourself. Let's see here. But I feel you, Mahadir. I feel you. A lot of people are feeling the same exact way. Did you hear about the Trust Wallet hack yesterday? I did not hear about the Trust Wallet hack. What happened with that? I did not hear about that. I'll have to look into that. I can do that right now. I actually do have a little bit on Trust Wallet, so the fact I didn't hear about that actually is kind of alarming to me. Crypto users lost 6 million in browser. Occurred Trust Wallet side allowing an illicit update to be sent to users' browsers. They were basic practices to release. Someone just lost $12,000 in a trust wallet hacked. Oh my goodness. So yeah, this is why we recommend cold wallets. Now I have to check my trust wallet account, see if I lost anything in there. I'm doing it right now. That's scary. I can't believe I didn't hear about that. Thanks for the update there, Miss Wendy. Where's my trust wallet? Not base. I can't find my app. Let's see if I got hacked in real time here, if I can find my app. Let's see, trust. There it is. Oh, they changed the emblem on me. That's why. They have a little Christmas emblem on it now. I am not doing that update. Thank you. Okay, I did not get hacked. I did not lose anything on there. I still have my balance in my trust wallet. I will be moving that to a cold storage wallet as soon as I get off here today. Thank you for that, Miss Wendy. Hawaii Rare says, no, 10 years I've been holding for almost 4 years now. Yeah, 10 years is a long time. And I mean, that's how wealth is made. It's not made overnight. It's not made in 2-3 years. This is something you start when you're 18, hopefully, or when you start working. Okay, so here's this for you. This is my belief of creating wealth. Whenever you start working, 10% of your paycheck should be paid to your future self. It needs to go into a cash producing asset, whether that's an investment or whether you put it towards a business or whatever. 10% of your money needs to be put away. The first thing you do, every single check needs to be paid to yourself to go make more money from the time you start making money. And if whoever that may be, if you do that and you stick to that discipline, by the time you get to 30, 40, 50 years old, you're done. You're done. If I could go back and teach myself one thing when I was a kid, that would be it. Pay yourself 10% minimum before you do anything else. Before you buy a house, before you pay rent, before you do anything. Live within your means. Pay yourself first. Mahir says, I just want to know when we'll get to $3 first. My guess for $3 right now, my guess for it to get to $3, I'm thinking we'll see that by the end of January when we get clarity. I do think we're going to get clarity, and I think there's going to be a lot more money that goes into the markets in January. So, I mean, if I were to take a guess, I'm going to say end of January, but again, not financial advice. I can't promise you anything, but I see it going up, and our math model sees it going up. Again, 7 straight weeks of inflows is not nothing. ETFs locking up XRP every single day by the millions is not nothing. It takes time. This is the beginning of adoption and regulation. We haven't even started utility. Utility phase won't kick off until sometime next year. Hopefully you guys caught my terrible Christmas short. A lot of people didn't like that one. I won't be doing that again. Singing is not my forte. But Mahadir, I do think we'll see $3 in January. Again, not financial advice. You can't hold me to it. But the math model we're looking at says appreciation is happening in the very near future. And I do believe it will. That's what I'm going off of. Let's see here. Yeshua says, hello, is XRP a stock or is it a protocol? And that's why the price doesn't move upward sideways when there's good news. So yes, XRP is a technology, right? It's a cryptocurrency. It is a technology. It is not a direct security of Ripple. That was ruled. So when Ripple gets good news, it doesn't mean XRP is going to go up. When crypto as a whole gets good news, it doesn't mean XRP is going to go up. They have a mind of their own. XRP is going to come from use and value. Value held on the XRPL, use and supply and demand. Okay, that's what's going to create the value. Value is determined by what someone is willing to pay for it. So what is someone willing to pay for this technology right now? Right now, it's about $1.84, but it's not a stock. So it's not going to move as a stock. Now, Ripple's rumored to be looking at doing an IPO next year. If they do an IPO, then you can buy Ripple stock. Just some food for thought. But that is the one XRP risk that we know of and follow as XRP holders. XRP is a protocol, is a blockchain technology that Ripple uses. It is not a security of Ripple. Ripple can succeed without XRP going to the moon, and XRP can succeed without Ripple. Okay, so I mean, they are not directly linked other than the fact that that is the technology that Ripple uses and holds. Hawaii Writer said, I sold XDC and bought more XRP, 5%. All right, there you go. Desiree says, good morning. Good morning, Desiree. Welcome, welcome. Glad you could join us. King Kong in the house. Jake Claver's still at it end of year. Hey, I mean, if that's his thesis in theory, at least he's willing to die for it. I mean, he's not willing to die for it, obviously, but he's committed to it. And I respect that more than someone who says the other, more than someone who falls off of it. So if he's going to stick to it and be wrong, that's at least, honorable. George in the house said, hey-o. Sir Charles in the house with a couple cups of coffee, as always. George asked if I had a good Christmas. I did. It was a busy Christmas, but it was a good Christmas. It was very, very good. Hopefully you all had a great Christmas as well and have a safe new year coming up, but I'll talk to you guys before that. Cynthia said, Jake achieved his agenda from XRP community, 60K plus views on his live streams, takes in thousands in super chats per live stream, monthly subscriptions up over 700%, etc. All due to gullible holders. Unfortunately, yes. I mean, he does make a lot of money. And yes, iTrust got hacked. Oh, it was iTrust. Was it iTrust or Trust Wallet? I was seeing Trust Wallet got hacked is what I was seeing all over Reddit, saying Trust Wallet was hacked. Trust Wallet Chrome extension breach caused $7 million worth of losses. So yeah, it was Trust Wallet, not iTrust. But they made good on the affected account. Oh, so maybe iTrust also got hacked. I'm looking at Trust Wallet getting hacked here. Miss Wendy says, I think the total was 7 million. That's what I'm reading right now. It says 7 million in losses on Trust Wallet. A hidden script got put in their update, so whenever you downloaded their update, you opened up your account, basically. Yeah, mine was good too, no issues. I'm moving it to a cold storage wallet now, though, after that. Warm wallets are no longer safe, unfortunately. Cynthia says, prepare for Jake to announce that he was just a little too early on his prediction. The new target Q1 2026, keep cash flow. Well, I mean, he's going to have to walk it back. I mean, like anyone who made large predictions are going to have to walk it back. That's why I try not to come out here and make predictions. Sorry, I'm got an itch on my foot. That's why I'm trying to come out here and not make predictions. Some people, want me to guess, and that's why I always say it's a guess. I'm not here to make predictions or say it's going to do this by this time. I'm here because I believe in it long term, and I believe in the crypto space long term, and I want to share the news with everybody. And because I do think the transfer of wealth is real, and I do think we have the opportunity to front run something like the internet, right? Similar story to the internet. I truly do believe that, but I don't believe it's going to be something that's going to happen in a month, a week, maybe even a year. Okay, but over the course of this transition, as we transfer to blockchain technology as a whole, as a globe world, because we are, then there are going to be winners and losers. And we need to be aware of what's happening in this space so we can capitalize on it. Now, I'm not going to say we're going to capitalize by making millions of dollars in a few months, and that's going to get me less clicks, unfortunately. But hopefully, as those people get burnt out on that, they're not too jaded, that they're willing to hear exactly how, more realistically, how this is going to make money and grow. So honestly, a lot of the people who are coming into my streams are the people who got jaded from those, ridiculous predictions, and they're finding me. So I'm catching a lot of that hate, but I think as people start to learn that I'm different, it's loosening up a little bit. Yeah, so Miss Winnie says the hack was through Chrome extension. Yeah, that's what I was seeing too. I just read that. Steven said, I heard XRP doesn't need Clarity Act to be utilized due to winning the SEC lawsuit. That is a myth. So the only clarity, it got partial clarity. The only clarity Ripple got for XRP was that it was not a security. So we don't know what it is, but we know what it's not. So it still needs to be clarified as either a commodity, a currency, property, however they're going to use it, right? And if you want to use it as a bridge asset, you can't have capital gains, right? So they need to take it out of a commodity, because if you buy and sell it every time, so there's a million different ways. We still need clarity. The only clarity we have is partial clarity, that it's not a security. That doesn't say what it is. It just says what it's not. That's all we got out of the SEC law case. But we did get the fact that, the lawsuit is ended, that it is going to be adopted and used, and that allowed more institutions and banks and things like that to finally lean in a little bit, that it's not under a lawsuit with the SEC. But again, we don't have full clarity yet. My opinion, not financial advice. Let's see here. It's coming, 589 says, but even with the Clarity Act, it will still take 12 to 18 months for it to go live for real, just like MiCA did in the EU. Well, yes, that's true. For it to be, I think we're still going to see 2 to 5 years before blockchain technology is fully adopted and used behind the scenes without people knowing about it. Prime example, I was at Christmas and I mentioned the word tokenization, and no one had a clue what I was talking about. Not a single clue. Right now, when we're talking about crypto, the vast majority of people only know Bitcoin. This is the beginning. It's going to take time for this to ramp up over the next 1 to 10 years, but everything is moving on chain. That is a fact. Which chain? How? How is that going to impact value? Those are the things we're going to find out, but that's a risk I'm willing to take, and that's why I'm involved in the space. Because I do believe all of traditional value is moving on chain. That's happening. That's going to happen. I don't believe that. I know that. So there are going to be winners and losers, but it's not like this. It's not like this. And anyone who says otherwise is a lie. Let's see here. Let's see. Araya says, and your take on Binance Bitcoin wick down to 24K, I believe that went through someone bought at 24K Bitcoin. And your take on Binance Bitcoin wick down to 24K. I wasn't talking about Binance Bitcoin wick. I was talking about that there was a $3.1 billion purchase at the $1.75 level for XRP during the crash. And then about a month ago, my take on Binance Bitcoin, I've never done a take on the Binance Bitcoin wick. I know that, the only take I did on the Binance Bitcoin wick actually was that they announced that they were going to have the reclassification of DAT's announcement of how it was going to go down on January 15th. They announced that the same day of the crash. So they announced that the night after the crash. So people knew. That's my only take on the Bitcoin wick down on the massive crash on October 10th, if that's what you're talking about. But there was a lot of factors that went into that. That wasn't, there was, what was it? It was like collateral based. There were so many factors on that. RBT says, I'm feeling this was all a scam. A lot of people are. A lot of people feel that way. I don't think XRP is a scam. The reason I don't think XRP is a scam because it's too public and it's too adopted. But again, that's just me. My opinion, not financial advice. There's a lot of people who are upset, confused, scared, feel like they've been, scammed, robbed. It's because we're getting into speculative assets, and there's so many people who don't know what's happening that say that this is happening or this is happening or this is happening. That's why you got to do your own research. We're here for the long haul. I'll be the first person to tell you, don't take my word for it. Go look it up. Go do your own research. Look at the ETFs. That's why I pulled data of actual numbers for you all. Raul says, I'm working extra days for my XRP. Listen, that's the way I see it. Hey, the longer it's down, the more time we have to accumulate and buy. We are in accumulation phase right now. That is very clear from the pattern. Now, if we break below 175, then I would be a little bit more concerned. But the fact that we haven't broken through the $1.75 level where we've had all that purchasing power since October, that making me feel very, very comfortable that that is our bottom. Let's see here. Three Brothers, a little late to the stream. He says, Happy New Year. Not yet, but I'll see you before New Year's. Welcome, Three Brothers. RB says, I'm still holding, but this doesn't feel good for 3 months. It hasn't moved. Volatility is not high. XRP just dead. It's already all priced in worldwide. It won't go above $2 for at least a year. I don't think that's true, RB. And to tell you the truth, I've been holding XRP. Well, I've been involved in XRP since 2019. I had to liquidate in 2023 due to a divorce and then start over. So I have been reaccumulating since 2023. I've been in this space for almost 7 years now myself with XRP. So a lot of the talking heads don't know what they're talking about, and it doesn't feel good. But you have to think about it. 3 months, 3 months in the grand scheme of things is nothing when it comes to investment. 3 months, I mean, really, that is, most investments take at least 5 to 10 years to materialize. So 3 months is nothing. The big problem was in 2020, we had such a rapid, involvement in all of crypto, and so many millionaires were made in 2020 and 2021 and 2019 that people thought this is what crypto is going to be, and a lot of that dumped. More people lost money than the people who made money. That's not how investing works. It's just not. And you say all these talking heads are on YouTube scamming. I mean, yeah, kind of. They are. I mean, they're feeding you information to get clicks, because when they get live streams and they get super chats and they get ads and you buy their courses and all those things, yeah, they're getting paid for that. They are trying to provide people value. And for the value is determined by what someone is willing to pay for it. Period. I could come out here and who was it? Let's have fun with it. Let's go Tommy Boy with you, right? I can give you a box and sell you a box of shit and mark the word guaranteed on it, and you just bought a guaranteed piece of shit. But that guarantee makes people feel all warm and fuzzy. It gives a value. So if I came on here and said this is going to happen with at this time, with this day, with this much conviction, and I came on here and said it every single day, there are going to be people who believe me. There'll be people who would pay me to if I came on and said that. So I mean, yeah, it is a lot of psychological. And I'm trying to bring those people in and show them a different way. That's my goal here, RB. Hopefully you found the channel the right way. Raul says he wished it would go down to 50 cents so he could buy more. Todd Madison said this just happened. What just happened? Todd Madison said this just happened. It was only one exchange, only BTD USD pair. Okay. Did Trump change his mind about XRP when he posted it to be in the Federal Reserve? So I don't think he ever posted to be in the Federal Reserve. I said that they were going to start doing treasuries with crypto. They were going to do a crypto treasury and start holding crypto on their balance sheet, but they turned around and said it was only going to be what they confiscated, that they weren't going to go out and buy it. So who really knows what they're doing behind the scenes? Honestly, it was only one exchange and only the BTD USD one pair. I'm guessing you're talking about, you're talking about the Bitcoin spike today? I don't know what you guys are talking about. You had to give me a longer explanation of what you're talking about. I'm trying to figure it out. Alex Garcia says, buying the dump and selling the pump. I mean, hey, buy low, sell high. I'm of the buy and die. So RSI about to 80, automatically sell. I mean, yeah, it kind of feels that way with, if you're watching the chart, yeah, you're not wrong until the pattern changes. Yeah, you're following the pattern the same way I am. I'm just looking out for the long haul. I don't buy and sell like that. Let's see here. Desiree told RB, maybe it's not your thing. Investing in crypto, 3 months is nothing. Many of us have been 5 years plus. Yeah, so I mean, that's it. You got to have some patience for it. You do. It takes time, especially if you're going to make money. You need to be around for a while, unless you just get really, really lucky. Again, you guys know I don't believe in luck, but more people will lose than win as far as trying to get rich quick in crypto by far. The meme coin era is done. It's utility now. Three Brothers says 10 more years we'll still holding. I'll be here in 10 years. That's right. 10 years I'll still be holding. Oriah says, in it for the long haul, people. I'd rather retire rich than sad. Again, yeah, exactly. I making the investment in it now super early, because again, we are still super, super early into crypto, everybody. We don't even have clarity yet. This is the beginning. This is like with the internet, this is when AOL started popping up and Yahoo. You know what I'm saying? We haven't even got Google yet. So it's coming. It's going to take, we haven't got Google. We haven't got Amazon. We haven't got these things yet. It's coming. It's going to take time. This is not a get rich quick scheme. It's a get wrecked quick scheme for a lot of people, unfortunately. And buying at all-time highs in June and selling now, that's how people get broke. It just is. And now, unfortunately, that's what happens, and people never learn. Jake Claver is one of those hopium scammers. He could be. I don't know him personally. I haven't been able to have a conversation and look him in the eye when he's talking to be able to make that determination for myself. So I won't say someone's a scammer. He may believe what he says. He may not. Um, some people believe their own lies. That's a different story. um, Alexis Garcia says that clever guy is smoking some good tobacco. I want some. Todd, the link. Oh, links don't show up in the chat, Todd. I'm sorry. It's like a safety feature for everyone. It won't show up a link in my chat. Oh, but Bitcoin crashed to 25,000 just happened. Well, shall we take a look? So let's see if you guys said it was only on Binance. Let's look at BTC on here. Was there any? Yeah, there was no major wick on Robinhood either. So it must have only been on Binance. There was, today's the 26th, there was a ton of Bitcoin shorts that were supposed to be liquidated today. So that probably had something to do with that spike. And it also has probably a lot to do with this right here too. There was a ton of Bitcoin options that were set to expire today. So some food for thought on that. But it's not showing up. It must be on Binance. It's not showing up in Robinhood. So whatever it was an isolated event because Bitcoin's still showing at 87,000 right now. Raya, like he said, $0. I can accept. Missing the boat is unacceptable. Oh, there you go. I told you I was always going to come on here and say exactly what I think about everything, and I'm hoping to find people of the same vein and thought process as me, but I want people to make up their own minds. So it sounds like me and Araya are on lockstep here as far as our thoughts on XRP. Todd Masson, Bitcoin trading at just above 87,000 earlier on Wednesday. Nosedived over 70% in a sharp wick. Trading pair to touch 24.1, then surged back. Yeah, so it sounds like something got shorted on a trading pair. Yeah, that's technical stuff. That happens. They probably made it back up. Alexa says, bro, gotta make some money. I gotta make some money too eventually. One day I'll turn monetization on for you guys eventually. Bitcoin said the Bitcoin is the world's largest and oldest cryptocurrency, briefly plunged below $25,000 level on Binance on Christmas Day before stabilizing. Well, again, it only showed up on Binance and only showed up on one pair apparently. So thank you guys for the information. That's what I get for not searching Bitcoin. But I'm looking at the Bitcoin chart on Robinhood and there's none of that. I looked up XRP and crypto news and stuff like that. I didn't see this on Bitcoin. Pure manipulation. Again, there was lots of options set to expire today. So a temporary wick, I mean, that happens on Kraken all the time with XRP. That's a matter of how orders get filled and stuff like that. So it may wick down and they may like close out an order at 24,000 and the next one they'll close out, up here. And it balances out in the long run. Sometimes those quick wicks, I mean, they are manipulation candles. They get wiped out. If someone was playing with leverage on Binance, they could get wiped out real quick doing that. And that's kind of what caused the big collapse on October 10th was like the way the collateral was paired, the value of the collateral fell like 90%. So then all these people got liquidated because their collateral didn't cover everything. And it was just a big mess. Some people got some money back, but a lot of people lost a lot of money that day. Well, again, I appreciate you all for being here today. That is the entire stream. That's the entire chat. You guys were very active and talking today. It's a slower day. There's no news. I mean, it's a day after Christmas. So I appreciate. I cannot talk. I appreciate you guys all taking time out of your day to hang out here with me today. And we'll keep discussing it. We're here for the long view. I know some of you are tired. Some of you are beat up with XRP. Again, this channel is about the long view. We're about what's going to be here a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and building something that's going to last, not something that's going to burn you out in 3 months and leave you with a loss. That's not what this is about. So we talk about dollar cost averaging. We talk about stacking. We talk about research, coming up with our own opinion based on our own research and building our own thesis so that when you are making a purchase, it doesn't matter what the price is doing. You know what you're doing, period. When you make a purchase, it should be less about the price and more about your belief in a product. Now, if you want to day trade and you want to do all that, then that's not what the long view is. But the long view approach is finding belief in a product, coming up with our own opinion, forming our own thesis. And at that point, the price won't matter to you. When it comes to 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, your price will be there. My opinion, not financial advice. Cryptos were all crippled that day and are still recovering. Yes, that wiped out liquidity big time and basically gave crypto a fresh start, and it hasn't fully recovered since then. Everything's been kind of hanging around in that vein since then. So we're here for the long term. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you guys tomorrow at noon, and I'll try to throw out some shorts if we get any more information for you guys. All right. I'll see you next.